Hari Bol, Nitai Gaur, Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, everybody, all the devotees here today in the morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. So today we'll first read from Srila Prabhupada's Lilamrita, and after that we'll recite and discuss one sloka from Srimad Bhagavatam. So I'm sharing the screen first, and then I'll read from Lilamrita. Sometimes Prabhupada's visitors would bring donations of cloth or fruits or even complete cooked meals in metal tiffins. One visitor, a middle-aged woman who had heard Prabhupada speak at Gauri Shankar temple, came to Prabhupada's office in the Chippiwada requesting initiation. Prabhupada spoke with her, agreed, and had Achyutananda prepare a small fire sacrifice. At her initiation, he gave her the name Mukunda Dashi. She came daily to clean Prabhupada's room, and when he saw that his wooden peg sandals were broken, she brought him new ones. Chandrasekhara had known Prabhupada for several years and was supposed to have been his secretary, but he was a drunkard. Prabhupada suspected him of having stolen from his mailbox more than 2,000 rupees during the past 2 years. Prabhupada's Chippewa address was listed in his magazine and books, and people had been sending money for books and back to Godhead subscriptions. Even in the past 2 months, Prabhupada's disciples had written that they were enclosing money in their letters, but Prabhupada never found any. One day he caught sight of Chandrasekhar in the building and asked him, "Where is my mailbox key?" "I believed you have it," Chandrasekhar replied. "Or maybe Sri Krishna Pandit has it." Chandrasekhar was drunk. "Swamiji," Achyutananda said angrily, "maybe we should make a police case?" Prabhupada shook his head. "No." "Well," Achyutananda said, "if he is not punished by the law, then in his next birth, Krishna will punish him." "That's true," Prabhupada agreed. Chandrasekhara looked fearfully from Prabhupada to his American disciple. "Then there's only one thing to do," Achyutananda said. "Shall I call the police?" "No," said Prabhupada. "I forgive him." Yet, only a few days later, Prabhupada's record player disappeared, and Prabhupada suspected the drunkard Chandrasekhara. Hare Krishna. So I'm stopping here. And before we start Srimad Bhagavatam, today is the appearance day of Narottam Das Thakur. We'll say a few words about, we pray our homage to him on this occasion. See, and as we know, Narottam Das Thakur is a very famous Acharya in our parampara, in the Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition. He was born as a son of a king, and he was very rich family, and showed all his bodily symptom was for a Mahapurush with his personality was very good, and he had long arms, deep navel, golden complexion, beautiful eyes, shaped like lotus petals. In the school, he was a very good student, and he could memorize the things very easily, and that's why he was called a Srutidhar. Srutidhar means who can hear and remember it. And he mastered in Sanskrit and the Vedas. And in spite of his great opulence, he became detached from that and left his opulent family and went to Vrindavan and took his diksha from Loknath Goswami and the Gaudiya philosophy. And as we know, he learned from Jiva Goswami as living at the time, and he got his shiksha in that sense from Jiva Goswami, who is also a renowned scholar in our Vaishnava tradition. And when the Kheturi festival was done after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, almost about 100 years, it is told that it happened in 1580 around. Of course, the exact date is not very known. Anyway, it is around 100 years after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this material world. And at that time, there was different groups and there was some different diversions in the flow of the Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Chaitanya Prabhu's teachings and the Bhakti movement that was launched by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So Kheduri festival was a point of coordination to bring an unity for all of them. And in that festival, Narottam Das Thakur took a great part in that. And he sang very nice kirtan. And as we know, he has composed so many kirtans. And in this tradition, his kirtans are famous because of the two reasons. First is he has got the proper consciousness of writing these things, and he has exactly followed what the previous acharyas has told him, and he has completely or purely kept it and preserved it. So, and that has become a tradition that whatever we listen from our gurus or the spiritual master, we should speak it exactly. And one song I just remember, he's told about Hori Hori Bifole Janam Goahinu, Manusya Janma Paiya, Radha Krishna na bujiya, Janiya Shunya Bish Kari. That means I have got this human life and I have forgotten Krishna, and without putting our endeavor to him or serving him, I am not doing that. And by not doing that, it is just like doing suicide by taking poison. And also during before his appearance, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was one day bathing on the Padma river, and on the other side of the river, where in the Rajshahi, the district, present Rajshahi district of course, it is now in Bangladesh. There, where Narottam Das Thakur was born, Chaitanya Prabhu was calling Narottam. So people are surprised a bit, who is Narottam at the time? But Narottam was not there at the time. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu predicted the appearance of Narottam Das Thakur. So today is his appearance day. Let us pray to him so that we can get his mercy and we can progress in our spiritual path if he places us. So with that, I'm stopping this. And now we'll read from Srimad Bhagavatam. And I'm sharing the screen before that. Today we'll read from chapter Canto 5, chapter 2 and verse 3. I'm just sharing the screen and then. Before that, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naranchaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaya Mudhirayet Srinnatam Shakata Krishna Punna Sravana Kirtana Hridi Antastahi Avadrani Vidho Noti Shudikshatam Nashto Praesho Avadreshu Nittam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttamasloke Bhaktir Bhagavati Nashtiki. So reading from Canto 5, chapter 2 and verse 3. I'm just sharing the screen. Tadupalabhya bhagavanadi purushaha sadoshi gayanting purvachittim namapsharasam abhyapayam asho. Tadupalabhya bhagavanadi purusha sadoshi gayanting purvachittim namapsharam abhyapayam asho. Tadupalabhya bhagavanadi purusha sadoshi gayanting purvachittim namapcharasam abhyapayamasaha. So synonyms. Can any of the devotees please read the synonyms, please?
Hare Krishna Prabhu,
Hare
Dandot
Krishna,
Pranam.
please.
Synonyms. Tat, that, Upalabhaya, understanding, Bhagavan, the most powerful, Adi Purusha, the first created being within this universe, Sadashi, in his assembly, Gayantim, dancing girl, Urvachittim, Urvachitti, Nama, name, Apsaram, the heavenly dancing girl, Abhi, Apayam, Asha, sent down.
Thank you, Prabhu. And anyone can read the translation, please? Any of the devotees?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam. May I please?
Yes, Mataji, please.
Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Understanding King Agnidhar's desire, the first and most powerful created being of this universe, Lord Brahma selected the best of the dancing girls in his assembly, whose name was Purvachiti, and sent her to the king. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. And anyone can read the
Yes,
please,
Prabhu.
Purport, please.
Yeah, I can read. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. In this verse, the words Bhagavan Adi Purusha are significant. Bhagavan Adi Purusha is Lord Krishna. Govindam Adi Purusham Tamham Bhajami. Lord Krishna is the original person. In Bhagavad Gita, he is also addressed by Arjuna as Purusham Adyam, the original person, and he is called Bhagavan. In this verse, however, we see that Lord Brahma is described as Bhagavan Adi Purusha. The reason he is called Bhagavan is that he fully represents the Supreme Personality of Godhead and is the firstborn creature in this universe. Lord Brahma could understand Maharaj Agnidra's desire because he is as powerful as Lord Vishnu. As Lord Vishnu, situated as Paramatma, can understand the desire of the living entity. So Lord Brahma can also understand the living entity's desire for Vishnu, as if via medium informs him, as stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.1, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kabai. Lord Vishnu informs Lord Brahma of everything from within his heart. Because Maharaj Agnidra specifically worshipped Lord Brahma was pleased and he sent Purvachitti, the Apsara, to satisfy him. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So, Om Jnanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Jena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namo Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vadati Shapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sriyata Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Savana Raghunathan Nitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Sabadhutam Parijana Soitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Savana Lalita Sri Vishakan Nitamscha हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी विश्वभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वंचा कल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यैव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले प्रभुपादानुगामी श्री शिव गोस्वामिने सदा दैन्यशीली शिवादय सर्वजीव कृपाप्ते गुरु शिक्षा सदाचार पालोकाय नमस्तुते नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवी गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशोतारिणे नमो महावदन्नाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरतिशे नमः मुखं करोति वाचलं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे परमानन्दमाधवम् Sorry. Hare Krishna everybody. I welcome you all, the devotees here in this morning class of Srimad Bhagavatam. And although I am not qualified, but still I am doing this service as I have been instructed to undertake this service. And also because it gives me an opportunity to purify myself speaking about the Lord. So I beg you all, the devotees here, for your mercy, please bless me so that I can properly glorify Lord Sri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and contribute positively in the mission of Sri Chaitanya, in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and in the mission of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna. So, brief background of this chapter. Of course, of the last 2 days, most of the speakers have told about that. But I'm just before starting, few words I'm talking so that there is a continuity on that. In this chapter, we are reading about the activities of Maharaj Agnidhra. And Maharaj Priyabrata, when went off for spiritual realization, his son Agnidhra became the ruler of Jambudvipa, and Maharaja Priyabrata instructed him that he should maintain his residence like his father. So King Agnidhra, with great affection, just like a father feels for his son, he was taking care of his citizens. And Maharaj Agnidhra once desired to have a son, and therefore to have a son he needed a wife. So he therefore prepared himself to go to the. He went to the Mandara hills for practicing austerity, so that becomes eligible for. So it becomes qualified to become a right father. So he had gone there, and Lord Brahma, understanding his desire, selected an Apsara, the best dancing girl in his assembly, and his name was Purvachitti, as mentioned in the translation, sent her to Agnidhar's hermitage. Now, in the purport itself, Srila Prabhupada has mentioned that the two words, Bhagavan Adi Purusha, are significant. And why? Because we know Bhagavan Adi Purusha is Lord Krishna. In the very first verse of, Prabhupada is also mentioned, the very first verse of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vyasdeva asserts that the Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead. When he says, and he pays his obeisance to the absolute truth, he says, and we know the absolute truth and Sri Krishna is not different, because in the personal form, the Lord is Krishna, and he is the absolute truth. And all others, and also in subsequently, third chapter in particular, and Srimad Bhagavatam, first canto, it is as Vyasdeva has asserted that Lord Sri Krishna is the original personality of Godhead, and all others are his direct and indirect plenary portions or portions of portions. And so Krishna is avatari, from him all the avatars come. And in our tradition, as we were talking about earlier, Jiva Goswami. Jiva Goswami is a very renowned scholar in our tradition, Gauriya Vaishnava tradition. And in his Krishna Sandarbha book, he has even more explicitly explained this subject matter, Krishna. Even Lord Brahma, the original living being, has explained this in Brahma Samhita, so substantially in Brahma Samhita. And in this verse, the very first verse starts with that the very first starts is that Krishna is the cause of all causes. Ishvara Paramo Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadiradi Govinda Sarva Karanakaram. And also, subsequently, on all the verses, which is available now, only chapter 5 is available from Brahma Samhita now, and the others have lost with the passage of time. And in most of the verses, at the end, it ends with that, Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhayami. That means he is the Adi Purush. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in Bhagavad Gita also, it is mentioned almost everywhere. I mean, where Lord Krishna is speaking, Vyasdeva is mentioned in Sri Bhagavan Ubach. That means Vyasdeva accepted that Sri Bhagavan is no one else but Lord Sri Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, in other places also, Krishna has himself asserted in many places that Aham Adirhi Devanam Maharshinam Chasarvasha. So I am the original Deva. That means Deva, of all the Devas, I am the original. So he has told it, even Arjuna has told it in verse 12, yes, 10.12, 13, and all these verses. And it is said that Arjuna was telling to Lord, Param Brahma, Param Dhamam, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavam. Purusham Shashvatam Dibham Adidevam Ajam Vibhum. Austam Risham Sarve. And he is telling that I am telling you that you are the original person. You are completely pure and pure from all material contamination. And he is also called Adi Purusha. So Lord has told, Arjuna has told, he has also told, not only I am speaking, but other Ashito, Devalabhesh, all these sages have already told him. So this is Bhagavan, Lord Krishna, full with all opulences. Now let us, but we have seen that Lord Brahma is mentioned here. We'll discuss it later, why Brahma is called Bhagavan here. But before that, a few words more on the word Bhagavan. The word Bhagavan has come from Bhagya or fortune, from most fortunate person. Okay, we'll first discuss. There is a definition of Bhagavan in our Shastra. And Parashar Muni, as we know, he is the father of Vajdev. Parashar Muni has given the definition and explanation of Bhagavan, and rather explanation of the qualities of Bhagavan in Vishnu Puran. And the word Bhagavan, he is explained by Parashar Muni. The Lord is full with 6 opulences. And in Sanskrit, the verse is like that. Pashuryasya samagrasya viryasya jasasya sriya kyana vairagyasya shannam bhavam itingana. Ashurya samagrasya. Samagrasya means in full. So in just the English meaning of this, that one who has all wealth, that means Ashurya means wealth, and in full, in all. And then all Samagrasya, Viryasya, all strength, and Jasasya, all, Viryasya, yes, just, and Jasasya means fame, all fame, and then Sriya means all beauty, and Jnana means all knowledge, and Vairagyasya, all renunciation. So this is called Bhagavan. And as I was telling, the word Bhago has come from the word Bhagyavan. Just as we'll say what is the meaning of the word Bhago, because just as we see, a person who possesses this Bhago is called Bhagavan. Just as a person who is who has very powerful Shakti, a person who is very knowledgeable is a Vidwan. Similarly, a person who is called knowledge is a Gyanavan. In this way, one who has got Bhago, he is called Bhagavan. Now, as I was telling, the word Bhago has come from the word Bhagyo. Often you would say that Bhagyo means fortune, and one who is fortunate, he is called Bhagyavan. So, in this way, the most fortunate person is the Lord. He is in possession of all these 6 qualities completely. And his opulence, or his opulence, Ashurya, is so much that Prabhupada has in one place has mentioned that for people in this material world, and we see around that people are begging for a little favor from the goddess of fortune, that is Lakshmi. But Krishna is always served by hundreds and thousands of fortune, goddess of fortune. So this is Krishna's position. So as Bhagavan, he is all fortunate or most opulent person. And he is the wealthiest person, and not only on this planet, but to all the planets that is one can think of. All the planets, innumerable planets are there, and he is the possessor of all this. Is the owner of all this opulence. So, and that too completely. In other words, he is the complete owner of everything that we can see and what we cannot see even. And in the present day, I think if we look at the material in this planet, in this particular planet where we are, and the richest person, if I am not sure, of course, maybe it is Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg or Jensen Huang. These are the persons we often hear. I'm not sure they are 100% that they are the richest. He is the richest person, Elon Musk. But if we consider him also, there is no doubt they have got enormous wealth. But Can they say that I belong, all the riches belongs to me? No, he cannot say that. Only Bhagavan can say that, and he is Lord Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, in chapter 5, verse 29, he is told, I am the enjoyer of all activities. Bhuktaram Yagyatapasham Sarboloko Maheshwaram. So he is the enjoyer. And once you understand that he is the enjoyer of all these things, then we can have a peace also, because then it becomes our duty to serve him. He is the owner and we are the servant. If we know that position, and then we have peace in our mind. And the another thing is also in that verse here, the end verse we say, Bhuktaram Sarvalokamashram Shuridam Sarvabhutanam. And at the same time, he is our well-wisher. The person who is the most fortunate person, and he is our well-wisher. When we understand that, we get peace. And then there is no doubt about the supremacy of the Lord and about our relation with the Lord. Now, in this verse, again, Brahma has been called Bhagavan, Adi Purusha. Now, why it has been told? Firstly, I'm making a few words and then we'll discuss that. First is sometimes in a contextual position, sometimes devotee sometimes called a great devotee as a Bhagavan because he is a representative of the Lord, and he possesses, the God has empowered him with certain with powers. That's why he is called Bhagavan. And sometimes when he's a representative of the Lord, just as a spiritual master, we consider him as a representative of the Lord. He is God. He is the Lord in one sense. And that's why sometimes for glorifying a person, we say that. But we must remember that by saying that, he does not become Bhagavan. Bhagavan is distinct and separate, and there is no one, there is no other person who can be Advaitam. The word Advaita means there cannot be any other person, Bhagavan. Bhagavan is only one person, and he is the Lord Sri Krishna. Now, in this, generally, the person Bhagavan is manifested also in an impersonal form. He is represented as Brahman, and part of, as we have told, he has got 6 qualities, opulence in food, and as an impersonal Brahman, he is manifested as Brahman, and also as a part of localized Paramatma. He is also situated in everyone's heart. These are the manifestations of Bhagavan. Personal form of the Bhagavan is manifested in other 2 ways, and these are Brahman and also Paramatma. And now let us come to the creation and find out the relation between Brahma and Lord Sri Krishna. In this material creation, for the material creation, the first Purusha is Karanodakshai Vishnu, and the others are Garbhodakshai Vishnu and Kshirodakshai Vishnu. And briefly, I'm trying to say how the creation took place. Mahavishnu lies down on some part of the spiritual sky, and by his own free will, on the ocean of Karana or from where he glances over the material nature. And when this material nature is glanced by the Lord, by the electrified power of the Lord, the Mahatattva is at once let loose, and the material nature is created. And from the skin holes of the Karanodakshai Vishnu, innumerable universes sprang up. And in each and every universe, that Purusha enters as Garbhodakshai Vishnu. He is lying within half of the universe, which is full with water of his body. And from the navel of the Garbhodakshai Vishnu has sprung up the stem of a lotus flower. And that is the birthplace of Brahma, who is the father of all living beings. So, and he is the master of all the demigod engineer. The Lord has entrusted him with the task of an engineer to create all living beings. So he is the secondary creator and Lord is the primary creator, as we see from here. And we can say like that, just as when a seed is sown, in due course of time, it grows into fruit, it goes into a tree or a creeper, and so many fruits that come up. But the seed, the original cause is the seed, or the tree or the creeper is the seed. So Lord is the original creator. And if we look at the spiritual sky, also, it is unlimited and without any end in any of the side. That is the place of where the Lord resides. And in the spiritual sky, there is no need for the sun, because the effulgence of the Brahman, or that comes out from the body of the Lord, that is spread all around, and the whole system is dazzling in spiritual light. And the Mahatattva, that we have told, Mahatattva, or the material things, that is accumulated in one corner of the spiritual sky, and that part is covered with Mahatattva, is called the material sky. And now within this material sky, there's that portion is almost insignificant as compared to the spiritual sky. Spiritual sky is vast, and Mahatattva, although it is unimaginable from our point of view, as a human point of view, but it is also very insignificant compared to the spiritual sky. And all these universes are collectively produced by the Karanodakshai Vishnu, or Mahavishnu. So there is one Mahavishnu, but so many Garbhodakshai Vishnus, because one Mahavishnu is the only one from whose the things have come up, and the Garbhodakshai Vishnu has innumerable, because there are innumerable universes around. And now coming to the places, and that's we have told how it is created. So the Lord has created this material world, and Brahma is in charge of that. Now let us talk about the abode of the Lord. So when you go to the abode of the Lord, that where it is description is given, where the Lord is residing, or the Krishna is residing. And in Brahma Samhita, in verse 529, it's very nicely given. The descriptions, the Krishna gives a definite information about this blissful place where the Lord is residing. And I'm just reading the verse 529 of Brahma Samhita. Chintamani prakarashadmashu kalpabriksha laksha briteshu surabhiro vipalayantam lakshmi sahasra shata sambrahma shedyamanam govindamadi purusham tamaham bhajami. So it is telling here that this place, or that place, spiritual sky, is made from Chintamani, and that means touchstone. The stone made of Chintamani in this material world is made of three modes of material nature, 3 modes, and made of 5 gross element. But that is made from Chintamani, and that is made, and the spiritual world is made of Chintamani. And there is life is eternal, as against here life. The material life is destructible. It is created by the Lord. It remains for some time, and after the end of the period, it goes into oblivion, or proloy takes place, and everything goes into destruction, and it go back to the Lord. But Lord's place is eternal, and there is no dearth of anything there, and the topmost, and of the spiritual sky, the topmost planet is Krishna Loko, and below there are innumerable spheres, and there is a description of that in Srimad Bhagavatam also. In the beginning, the Lord Brahma was in his beginning of his life, in beginning of it, when Brahma came into being, he was shown the Vaikuntha sphere by the Lord, by the grace of Narayana. Narayana showed him. So he has understood that, and subsequently by when Krishna showed him, subsequently by Krishna, he knew the details of the spiritual sky. That description is given by the Brahma in his Brahma Samhita. And in Srimad Bhagavatam also, there is a description of the Vaikuntha Loka. And here, the difference between the material world and the spiritual world is that in the material world, it is represented by the three modes of material nature: goodness, passion, and ignorance. But in the spiritual sky, in the spiritual sphere where the Lord resides, there is no influence of this material qualities. So there is no, it is never disturbed also like. But here, because it is made of three modes of material nature and it is temporary, but the spiritual world is eternal. There is no creation there. Everything is existing permanent. And here, although sometimes we may say that of the material, there are 7 planets above the earth and 7 below the earth. As we go up, the mode of goodness increases. And in the highest is Brahma's place, where the Brahma Loka, where Brahma is residing. And in that also, it is not pure Shatto, because it is mixed with other, that is, passion and ignorance is also there. So that's why they are not eternal. But in the spiritual sky, they are eternal. And everybody, and the another difference is that here we have forgotten the Lord. In the material world, we have forgotten the Lord. So our relationship with the Lord is not pure relationship of the master and the servant. But there in the spiritual world, no one is forgetful about the relationship with the Lord. So they serve the Lord in a pure servitor, as a pure servitor. But here we have got different designation. We often forget it, and because of that, we have got ignorance, we have got misery, we have got egoism, we have got anger, we have got envy that are present in this material world, but not in the spiritual world. And also, another thing is that the material world, in the material world, in the material world, there is a difference between the living bodies and the inert bodies. But in the spiritual world, everybody is cognizant of them. Even there is nothing called inert things. Everybody is capable of expression. And because it is blissful there, and that is emanating from the Lord. So the Lord, because of the presence of the Lord, they are cognizant of their relationship with the Lord and their constitutional positions, and they are rendering service to the Lord perfectly. The inhabitants of the Vaikuntha Loka do not have material senses, so they serve the Lord with purified senses, as against ours, which is contaminated material qualities. And of course, one must understand, as Prabhupada is often told, that we should not consider that this is an imagination, because it has come from the scriptures, and Lord Brahma has been there and he has narrated it in Brahma Samhita, and also Srimad Bhagavatam also you see there is a description. It is not an imaginary things, and that the atheist sometimes thinks that the spiritual world, because we have not gone there, that it is very probably imagination. But Prabhupada is very clearly told that it is not an imagination, it is in our scriptures. So we have to accept that. What is mentioned there. And another thing is that the physical bodily complexion and the physical body of the material of these two planets, of these two places, sorry. In the spiritual sky, the Vaikuntha Loka, people have the Vaikuntha Loka, the people have the living beings, in other words, have the bodily have the bodily compositions as that of the Narayana, the four-armed, and their colors are also fascinating, attractive, and not very. It is very similar to the Lord, but here it depends on our karma, and we have got that body, 8.4 million species of life, and depending on our previous desires and karma, we have got a body. But in the spiritual world, it is different, and everything is pure, and the situation is very favorable for the Lord, to serve the Lord. Now, coming back to the stage of the where we're discussing about the creation, the person, and we must remember that Lord in this for the maintenance of this material world, the Lord has created three Gunavataras, and they are Lord Vishnu, Lord Brahma, and Lord Shiva. Lord Vishnu is the non-different from the personality of Godhead. He is in the mode of good. He is the Lord of the mode of goodness, and Lord Shiva is the marginal position between the personality of Godhead and the living beings in mode of ignorance. And Lord Brahma is the mode of passion. And Lord Brahma is always a Jiva Tattva. It is not a Purusha avatar, things of the Lord. It's not Vishnu Tattva, in other words. And so we must remember that these three things, although there are three Lord of the three Gunavatars, but they are not under the cover of the Gunas. That I meant to say that when Brahma is not under the mode of passion, we must understand that. Why? Because he is in charge of that, because he is a great devotee of the Lord, and we have seen in Bhagavad Gita, I think 7:14, it is very clearly written, Doiviyesha gunamayi mama maya durataya mameva prabodhante maya mayitam tarantite. One who is surrendered to the Lord, who is fully surrendered to the Lord, he can easily overcome this material, the modes of material nature. In this way, Brahma is free from the modes of passion. Although he is a Lord of that, but he is free from that. And we should not have that confusion that Brahma is also under passion, just as Lord Shiva is not under mode of ignorance. Now, but the devotees in most cases have this knowledge, but those who have not proper knowledge, they think that by worshipping the demigods, they can get the things very easily, so they do that. And therefore, in Bhagavad Gita is also written 7:20, I think it is there. Those who have got material desire, they generally worship the demigods. But it is better always to serve the Lord, because he is the source of everything. And even the demigods have their authority from the Lord, derives their authority from the Lord. Whatever authority Lord has given them, they only exercise it. So that is the most important information. And the other thing is that when we must know that Lord Brahma is empowered. He's a great devotee of the Lord, and he has been authorized with a great power to create the creation, living beings. So much power has been entrusted to him. He must be a great devotee of the Lord, and we should not forget that. That's why. But Brahma is aware of that, just as in our day-to-day practice, for the devotees know that for our spiritual knowledge, we approach our spiritual master. But what he does, he in turns directs us to the Krishna, because he is a devotee of the Krishna. So in this way, Lord Brahma is a great devotee of Krishna, because he has directly learned from Krishna. Krishna has instructed him directly and has given him the power. So Brahma is fully aware of that. But some people who have got no knowledge, they normally do not approach the Supreme Lord. They approach the demigods. And another thing is that Brahma is also empowered by the Lord, as Prabhupada has mentioned in the purport, that just as Paramatma is situated in our heart, he is situated in the heart of Brahma as well, and informs him what is going on in the other. So whatever desire we have, just as the Lord immediately knows us, being situated as a Paramatma, but he reveals it to the Brahma because he has been entrusted with the task of creating living entities. So Brahma is also aware of what is happening within us, and because he is empowered by the Lord to do that. In other words, he gets all the knowledge to the Lord, but he is also aware of what is happening within our heart. But one thing we must remember, just as we are controlled by the Lord, and we are controlled, similarly, Brahma is also controlled by the Lord. And Brahma is also not free from illusion. And we know the Brahma Bimohan Lila, that Brahma was when Lord Sri Krishna was in Vrindavan and with the cowherd boys was grazing in the forest, near the forest. And Brahma was a bit illusioned because he thought that this boy who is just taking foods from other boys, and other boys are sitting on his uh, head, and he can do that. How he can be the Supreme Personality of Godhead? He became bewildered. But when he took some of the cows, some of the calves, and some of the cowherd boys, and hide them in one of the caves. But subsequently, Brahma realized that they are again there. They are everything remains intact because Krishna, by his own potency, has created all of them equally. Just it is very difficult just to imagine. Even sometimes at that time, the mother of the boys, cowherd boys, could not understand what is the difference between, because Krishna has become that form, has taken the form of a cowherd boy. Krishna has taken the form of a cows. Krishna has taken the form of a calves. And no one could even understood what has happened in the meantime. It happened for about a year. But Brahma immediately realized that because someone is higher potency than him, then he at once surrendered to the Lord. So this is the quality of a great devotee. He is always surrendered to the Lord. He knows that something has happened beyond his authority or beyond his knowledge, then he must be a higher authority. And in a similar way, we can see that Lord Shiva was also bewildered by the Mohini Murti when the Lord, I think we cannot have speak much on that, but everybody knows when Lord appeared as Mohini Murti, the Shiva was bewildered. So the Lord is the highest. Lord is never subject to illusion, and all of the demigods, even the Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, they are also subject to illusion. So we should have no doubt who is the Bhagavan in the real sense and who is just referred as Bhagavan. Of course, when they are referred as Bhagavan, there is nothing wrong in it, but at the same time, we must understand who is the real Bhagavan and who has been referred as Bhagavan. I mean, just as a reference, sometimes it is told. And we have also seen the difference between a neophyte devotee and an advanced devotee like Lord Shiva and Brahma. Neophyte devotee tries to, what happens in our day-to-day life, we've seen most of the people tries to rely on their personal ability to when they are in a difficulty. But an advanced devotee always knows the Lord is the cause of all causes, and it depends on him completely. And when we surrender to the Lord from the beginning, we have got this knowledge. We are in proper knowledge, spiritual knowledge, that Lord has all the solutions for our problem. And if we depend on the Lord, we are protected. But unlike the neophyte devotees, they think that they try to do their own ability first and depends on the others and X, Y, Z, all other, from their relatives, from their friends, and influential persons, leaders. They think that their problem can be solved in this way. But ultimately, when they find no solution, they ultimately sometimes approach to the Lord. And so this is the difference between a neophyte devotee and an advanced devotee. An advanced devotee knows Lord is the cause of all causes, and his position, he knows his position, so he has no confusion on that. And in this, how to surrender about the Lord, and very Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has told us in the present age, it is by chanting the holy names of the Lord. When we surrender, when we chant the holy name of the Lord and fully surrender unto Him, and take shelter of a spiritual master, and taking his instruction, we chant, we follow the follow the follow his instructions of devotional service, then we remain in a very safe situation, and that is the way to protect ourselves in this material life. And that's why Prabhupada has also created ISKCON, in which we remain protected in association with the devotees. When we always associate with them and follow, sometimes when we are in difficulty, take their help and take the help of the senior devotees, we remain protected, and our progress in spiritual path remains unaffected. And we have to do it with, as Srila Rupa Goswami has told, Utsahan Nishchaya Dhoryan Tat Tat Karmapad. Then when we follow that with enthusiasm and with confidence and with patiently, we pursue that, our life becomes successful. And in this way, we have make our life successful in this way, and we should always remember the Lord is waiting for us, and it is for us to surrender. And because Lord never interferes with our ability, I mean, the partial independence God has given us. It is for us to show our duty or our responsibility. We have to undertake our responsibility and surrender to the Lord fully, and then we can make our life successful. And in this way, this happens when we become very humble and free from false ego. And when we are free from all that, and in a compassionate way, we are compassionate to all living beings, and depend fully on the Lord, our life becomes successful. And with Krishna's mercy, we can get rid of the Maya, and no material problem becomes bigger that remains unsolvable to us. We can solve all our problem in that. Solve means, I mean, the problem may be there, but we can get rid of the problem by depending on the Lord and depending on the mercy of our spiritual master, and with the association of devotees, we can override all our problems. So with that, I'm ending. Hare Krishna. If anybody has any realization, any comments, or any question, or any mistakes that I might have committed, please, I'm happy to learn from all of you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandot Pranam.
For explaining this text in a broader spectrum of creation and sub-creation, and the importance of Bhagavan along with Lord Brahma, what the differences we understand, a nice description, and how the Bhagavan word has come, and what is the difference between Lord Krishna and Lord Brahma. They are, in some cases, they are parallelly moved, but because we see the attributes of Brahma is 78%, so he is very, very great devotee and fully knowledgeable, because Brahma's attribution is knowledge, so he's full of intelligence. So whatever happens, whatever is created by the Lord is directly exported to Lord Brahma. So it's a vice versa combination. That's why whatever Lord creates immediately informs Lord Brahma, and whatever Brahma understands immediately pass on to Lord. So they are equal. In that sense, they are equally important and equally knowledgeable. That's why whatever happens here, it equally informed to the Lord through Brahma. That's why he was informed as Bhagavan. And even often also we see, even Narad Muni sometimes, Lord Shiva, they are also expressed as Bhagavan, because they serve the purpose of the Lord. That's why they are equally important. However, the the beautiful information about the creation and sub-creation that really refreshes our mind to understand the position of Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, how they serve the Lord with their full intention so that the activities of the Lord can be maintained throughout the material world as of their duties. And so here we can see from the story that Purvachitti was been sent by Lord Brahma according to the desire of Maharaja Agnitra, because he was inquiring for a woman who can be who can be who can give a child so that he can return to Pitrilo. So with this intention, Lord Brahma has created the situation and made this demigod girl Purvachitti for Agnida's request. So that was the reason why all the story comes around. And we'll see in the next how Purvachitti, how Agnidar was affected by the influence of Purvachitti. Let watch and wait. But thank you very much for explaining the word Bhagavan, the creation, sub-creation, and how important is Lord Brahma in our activities, in the creation, and in our daily life. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the nice conclusion on that. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavot Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavot Pranam.
Thank you. Just wanted to thank you for your very scientific explanation, very detailed explanation of the concept of Bhagavan and all his opulences. So just wanted to thank you for that, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any other comments or realization?
Oh, it doesn't seem to be, so we'll cross here.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah, Prabhuji, it appears there is no other person to make a comment.
Yeah,
So
one
the class may be concluded.
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नंदकोटि वैष्णव वृंद
वृंद
की
की
जय।
जय।
His Grace
Grace
Abhay Charan Prabhu
प्रभु
की
की
जय।
जय।
श्री प्रभुपाद की
की
जय।
जय।
गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to our Assembled devotees. Hare
हरे
Krishna.
कृष्ण।
Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank